Look, today too, more evidence of Labor's energy train wreck. All the things I foreshadowed back in January and February were happening as Labor tried to hide the extent of the energy mess from voters, and largely they got away with it. First up, confirmation today that power bills are set to soar yet again as the Australian Energy Regulator made it final its initial draft determination that was released back in March. Now, this means that price hikes are on the way, upwards of 9% on bills, largely, the regulator says, due to the increased costs associated with wholesale electricity contracts for the coming financial year. And this hit to households comes at the same time as the Australian Energy Market Operator warned today of the exploding cost of the so-called green transition. AEMO saying that the average cost of building the 10,000 plus kilometres of new transmission lines that we need for the decentralised renewables grid is up by some 55% since the last plan was published just a year ago. New substation costs, well, they're up some 35%. Then there's the news that gas exploration investment in Australia is lagging behind thanks to new government restrictions on gas markets and lawfare against gas projects, even though gas is essential to turn renewable energy into 24/7 power because of peaking needs. But let's not forget here the ongoing resistance of local landholders too to the desecration of prime agricultural land in our national parks. This is via the forests of wind turbines and carpets of solar panels. Well, naturally, the People's Republic of Victoria is the epicentre of all this sort of madness that's got us destroying the environment in order to, so they tell us, save the planet. Massive new renewable energy zones planned for Victoria as part of the government's plan there to get 95% of the state renewable energy output in a decade. Fully 7% of Victoria's land area has been set aside for hosting an extra 5.2 million solar panels and a further 1,000 plus wind turbines. This is just Victoria. And right around the country, this environmental vandalism is set to increase, with the Albanese government about to announce soon its 2035 emissions reduction target. Experts today predicting it will be a lot more ambitious than the 2031 that's already hurting our households as well, you know. Now, right now, our current target is a 43% emissions reduction by 2030. This new target for 2035, well, it's rumoured to be as high as some 70% reduction in emissions. Now, can you afford that? Who can afford that? Who can afford that and still keep the lights on or their small business solvent? Meanwhile, across the Tasman, the New Zealand government's effectively abandoned net zero by announcing big plans there to go after more gas. The Kiwi Resources Minister said, and this is just last week, the government is not prepared to sit on the sidelines and watch our industrial and manufacturing dwindle because of energy security concerns. New Zealand has recognised that climate change is not an existential threat, but an economy without fuel is. So while the rest of the world is having second thoughts about net zero, here in Australia, we're doubling down. It's all part of our economic decline under the Albanese government. The government that Australians, well, they've just re-elected them. But in part, I suspect, because so much of this green agenda was buried pre-election, and what wasn't buried just wasn't understood or even discussed in the election campaign. This is why a strong and effective opposition matters as much as it does. So please, Liberals, get your act together.